we're a 5-year-old company. We're headquartered here in this beautiful space in Northwest Arkansas, but we have 6 other offices, 5 others in the U.S. and 1 in the U.K. So we're 105 people now. And what we do, I'll get to there, is we power shopper social media. And it's all about, as Derek said, driving demand outside of the store. So let me tell you a little bit about what that means and how we do that, right? So we have a community of social influencers, or bloggers, although I hate being called that, right? Because there is a difference between a blogger and an influencer, right? And we worked really hard to create our community of influencers. So there's a difference there. And we harness them and their followers to create shopper media, which is content about your brands, right? And it's all directed to a specific retailer to get them to go purchase that product at a retailer. And the way we do that is we use our products to solve traditional shopper marketing problems. Shopper marketing problems that have been around for 100 years, right? But now we're trying to solve them with a new media. We're trying to solve them with social media. So you may have a new item that you're trying to launch at Walmart. You may have an item that's being threatened to being delisted at Target. You may be trying to amplify a demo in store at Kroger. You may be trying to promote a seasonal event at a different retailer. And those are the types of problems that we work with our clients to solve. So why does this topic matter specifically for this group, right? Derek mentioned I'm an ex-Walmart guy. I know many other ex-Walmart guys in the room. And I've sat in hundreds, maybe thousands of buyer meetings where suppliers come in to introduce their new product to them, right? And literally, these are the first 3 questions that get asked in those meetings, right? First question, what's your product? What does it do? Why is it better than your competitors, right? Got to be able to answer that question. Second, what price are you going to give me? Because mentally, Darren and Steve Broughton and others in the room are already calculating in their head, well, I know what I think I can sell it at, so what's the margin going to be for my retailer? So you got to be able to answer that question. And then the third question, which is sometimes the more tricky one for small companies, is, so what's your marketing plan specifically for me at my retailer? Because I don't care what your national marketing plan is. Everybody gets the national marketing plan, right? I care about what the plan is to drive sales at Walmart or Target or somewhere else. So that's what we're very focused on, helping the supplier community here and in Minneapolis and in Cincinnati and in Chicago, and that's why we have all those other office locations. So we're going to talk about how we do that. I'm not going to bore you with a whole lot of stats today, but I think you're all aware of the decline of the traditional media channels that are out there. When's the last time you paid attention to a TV commercial or a direct mail piece or a radio spot, right? You just they all blur, right? You kind of move past that. But that's a problem. That's a problem for all of us, because if we're trying to achieve those objectives at those retailers, how do you get somebody to notice your new product, right? So, nowadays the consumer's decision process, it all starts online, right? If you look at this Nielsen chart on the left, more than half of consumers say that they start with social media, user reviews, and online advertising to make their purchase decisions. As a result of that, the chart on the right is CPG companies just keep moving more and more of their media money out of print and TV into digital and social and shopper marketing, right? Because they want to be able to help support the largest retailers, which drives their top line numbers as a company. But even digital's changing, right? So I've been working in the digital business, since I left Walmart, I've been working in digital and social. And so from if you look at digital, what digital looked like in 2005 to what digital looks like today, it's nothing like it. 82%, consumers say 82% of all online ads are ignored nowadays.
Can I ask
Yeah.
you a question? Ignored meaning they don't take an active response to click and buy that product?
They don't even see them. I got to be honest with you, they don't even see them, right? So one of the businesses that Derek skipped when he did the intro is, I used to work for Triad Retail Media, and Triad managed retailers' websites and sold all the advertising, the digital banner ads on retailers' websites. And as those, and in 2005, that was amazing. I mean, it was amazing because it was new and it got noticed, right? If you look at, I'll pick on Walmart because we're in their backyard for a second. I mean, if you look at Walmart's website today, the amount of banner ads that cycle through the website are enormous. Like so many, hundreds and hundreds of manufacturers trying to influence product sales at Walmart. In addition to that, topics also appear on those websites that have nothing to do with the products that are sold on Walmart. You'll go on Walmart.com and you'll see ads for travel and a bunch of other things. So, consumers are now trained, that's not the purpose, that's not the reason they're going to a retailer's website, is to see the ad, right? Just, that's not it. So they're kind of past that point, they don't even recognize it. The other challenge for all of us as marketers trying to promote our product is, I don't know about you, but 20 years ago when I was in college and then grad school, studying marketing, they always talk to you about the purchase funnel, right? It's all about get them in at the top of the funnel, market to them, and the right things will spit out at the bottom of the funnel. That's not the way it works anymore, right? It's like that insurance car ad, right? That's not the way this works, right? Because it's now a fish, right? Because anybody can come in at a different point, and the stimuli that creates the demand for them to come in is so radically different. So you never know where they're going to start, right? So how do you deal with that? Well, here's what we know, right? Here's what we know about consumer behavior when it comes to marketing. Consumers start with search. 52% of shoppers start with search. When shoppers are in store, if you haven't walked down the aisle at a Walmart lately and peered your head, down the aisle, the majority of people are standing there looking at their phones like this, right? They're researching, right? They're looking for ratings and reviews. They're looking for someone like them to say, yeah, I like that product. I had that same problem. I use that product, right? And when you think about search, most people just think about Google or Yahoo or Bing or something like that. But those aren't the only search engines. All the social media channels, the platforms that are out there, Facebook and YouTube, those are search engines as well. That's where people go to get inspired. And inspiration is what drives traffic to the store and drives purchase. Right? So you have to be thinking about that as you're creating your marketing plans. So today, we at Collective Bias believe content is the currency. It's not the app. It's about creating content about your product. Content that's going to live outside of an ad format. Content that a consumer can search for and find and click on and engage with and spend a lot of time with. And that's what's going to get it on the shopping list and drive them to the store. Right? So, we believe content is your brand voice when you can't be there because you don't know where that, they're going to start in that fish, right? So you got to create that content and put it out there so people can find it. And that's what we try to do for our clients. So we spent the last 5 years working with people like Kraft and Nestle and Tyson and lots of small companies too. But we learned a lot from that process. So that's what I wanted to try to share with you today is the 3 most important things that we learned when you're trying to create that content. So first is, it is about content. It's, user-generated content, authentic user-generated content creates relevance. And relevance is what drives whether somebody pulls that content in, because push doesn't work anymore. We talked about all the vehicles that, with push, you can spend a whole lot of money on push strategies and no one will still see your product, right? So we believe it is all about creating pull. And one of the ways you create pull is you think about creating content that's going to cause engagement and can be shared, right? So we're going to talk about what we think that looks like. And then the third part is we believe, you heard me when I introduced the company, Collective Bias, I didn't introduce us as a social media company, right? We're a shopper marketing company. Now, social is our delivery mechanism, but we're very much social channel agnostic. We use them all, right? We use them all because you need to use them all depending on what your product is and what behavior you're trying to create. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. Very quickly, I promise. So first, right, there is a difference, between a really, really good influencer, which is what we exhibited here on the left, and a blogger. And not all bloggers are as bad as the example I'm making it out to be on the right. But the example on the right, that's not engaging content, right? That's an ad, disguised as, trying to be disguised as blog content, right? but those yellow images there, those were created by an ad agency. They weren't created by the blogger, right? So that's not the way we do content. Collective Bias, we do content with original photography, original recipes, and storytelling. Long-form storytelling, where someone's going to come, hopefully they're going to find it through search, they're going to end up on this page, and through the story that they're telling about their product, from the time they went to a Walmart or another store to buy it, to the time they took it home and used it for their family, that's the story that they're going to tell. And we've shown over the last 5 years that telling these kind of stories is what works. That's the kind of content that people want to engage with. We also believe, from a content standpoint, content needs to be good, right? Nobody engages with bad content, right? So what does good content look like? And this is kind of the spectrum of good content. We think good content is either really, really useful, helps you solve a problem, or it entertains. And there are levels in between, but that's pretty much it. Like think about your own behavior. Why do you go on the internet and look for something? It's for one of those two reasons, right? That's just about it. So we try to make sure as we work with our clients that we understand what the strategy is, and we try to figure out where they're trying to fit in on this spectrum. And if they're not trying to fit in on the spectrum, we try to force them to fit in on this spectrum, because we know the spectrum works. And last but not least, talked about being channel agnostic. So this is, there is a difference with the way you use different social media platforms, right? They're not all the same. And not every product is relevant and going to be successful using one of these platforms. So we think this is a pretty humorous example. We do a lot of work with our friends down the road at Coke. They let us use this, but this is the way they describe the different social media platforms, right? And so we take that into account because as your day started really early this morning, I came in for part of the lecture that the attorney was giving, right? This stuff is complicated, right? Each one of these platforms requires you to do different things about copywriting and what are you allowed to say and what are you not allowed to say and what do I have the rights to and what don't I have the rights to. So you can't just go do it and hope you get it right. I think she made a pretty good point about that. That could be really punishing for your company in terms of the fines you could face. So so it's important to understand the differences between each of those channels. So that's kind of, that's how we do what we do here at Collective Bias. And I'm just going to end with a couple of really, really quick examples because that was all theory, right? Theory's nice, but I think real life examples are a lot more fun to bring into life. So a couple of years, we do a lot of work with our friends at Tyson down the road. A couple of years ago, our friends at Tyson had a big problem. They overproduced about 2 million pounds of chicken nuggets. Right? That's a problem, right? It's not, it's a solvable problem usually because if you overproduce, hopefully you did it in a SKU that you can spread across the retail distribution chain, especially in a product that's expiring inventory. In this case, they did it in a Sam's Club SKU, right? That's a totally different pack size, right? So you can't move it across the chain. So they were freaking out. And again, they came to us and said, all right, so what are we going to do? What's the marketing campaign that we're going to use to get rid of all this product? And working in partnership with them and their agency and our community, we came up with this really cool concept. Oh, and by the way, it was over the holidays, right? Not the prime time for chicken nuggets. We're feeding families a little bit better stuff to take care of them during the holidays. So we came up with this concept of why should cookies have all the fun, right? And this is an example of what one of our influencers did to bring the campaign to life, right? So they decorated chicken nuggets the way you would decorate holiday cookies. I think it's pretty cute. I think it's a lot of fun. And you asked earlier about, do people see the ads on websites? Mostly no, and even if they do and they click on it, the engagement rate with it, I mean, it's quick, right? It's a few seconds, and then you're on to the next thing. The engagement rate for us on this program, when somebody clicked on, searched and clicked on and got you the content, they spent 2 to 3 to 4 minutes with the content, right? That's, not all impressions are equal. Anyone who tells you that as a marketer is lying to you, right? So that's an impression. You've made an impression on somebody when they engaged with that content. We take that content, as I said earlier, and we use different social media channels to pump that content out there. Of course, you can find it through Google, but we also hope you're going to find it through the syndication that we did, right? And in this case, we used a lot of Pinterest because it's very visual and a lot of fun, right? So that makes a lot of sense. Net result, we moved all 475,000 bags of chicken nuggets. And for a $125,000 investment, it helped them sell $5 million. And we did that over a 3 to 4 week time frame. So that's a pretty cool example. We're pretty proud of that one. We actually won an award for that one, so we have to use it. Probably, though, not the most relevant to all your businesses. I get that. You're a little bit smaller in scale than that, right? This is a market leader in a in a big category, right? So let's just talk about another really quick example. We do a lot of work for Bigelow Tea as well. Bigelow is not the leader in their category. There's a little company called Unilever who owns the Lipton brand, who outspends them about, 50 to 1 from a marketing perspective. They were really struggling with Walmart. They were in that position where a bunch of their individual SKUs were about to be delisted. And they came to us and they said, what can you do for us? And so again, same kind of approach. We found the right influencers. We started creating amazing content. Just incredibly creative stuff to create new usage occasions for tea. The good news, for us from a measurement standpoint is, they don't do a lot of advertising. Bigelow might do a couple of print ads. If you've been up to the New York market, you might see Joe Torre or Derek Jeter or Phil Simms in a print ad. But that's about their whole marketing strategy. So it was very easy for us to be able to track and figure out what kind of impact we had on the business. And in a couple of months, we went from having items being threatened to being delisted to an 18.5% sales lift. Even better, and I didn't put this on the slide because my friends at Bigelow would be upset by it, but it's the truth, is if you go ask the Walmart buyer for that category, not only do we help drive Bigelow sales, but we help drive the whole category, right? That's what the retailer wants. They want you to move your item too, but that's great, but they really want you to help them drive the whole category. Right? If you get switched out when you're standing at the shelf, get switched out to another item, it doesn't matter to them. They got you to the aisle and somebody bought something, right? So there's another example of how we do what we do, and we think this is proven to be really effective marketing, and what we think is going to continue in the future, and it's what's driving the growth of our business. So I think I kept it to less than 20 minutes. And any questions?
We have about 11 minutes is what he had left on his time, so.
That was good, right? I'm a New Yorker.